welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
Let's go with this then. Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half, and it's a wedding special. How are you?
I'm great, Alan, and congratulations on the wedding. I was going to say the word beginning with the N, but I can never remember how you pronounce that.
The word beginning with it, you've completely and utterly lost me. The word nuptials.
There we go. That's how you pronounce it.
Yes, you completely had me there. I was thinking, what word begins with N that's got a wedding in it? But nuptials, I like that. Yes, thank you very much, Ian. Special wedding episode. And before we start talking about anything else, I've actually got champagne to drink tonight, Ian. Look at this. It's alcohol-free champagne, and it's in a plastic glass because I don't have normal glasses at home. But yeah, champagne.
That's incredible. Sadly, Alan, I've been up worrying so long about whether the wedding would go ahead. I know it was always going to go ahead from Paula's point of view, but I know how many pairs of trainers you have, and I have watched The Runaway Bride. So I was up worrying all night. So as a result, I'm having a nice glass of milk in a Batman cup because I'm actually like an 11-year-old today when it comes to that. I had, of course, completely forgot this goes out on YouTube. Otherwise, I perhaps would have bought a better cup. But the only problem, Alan, is I'm trying to lose weight again, so I couldn't have any cookies to go with it, so that I could really go to sleep afterwards.
Is it, like when you have cookies, do you dunk your cookies in your milk?
Yes, but it has to be the Maryland ones. Them soft ones that you can get in the Arndale Centre for me that Millie does. I don't think you can dunk them. I think they become a bit too gooey. But yeah, Maryland cookies, dunk in. Our American listeners will probably know them well as cookies, won't they?
Yeah, just straight up cookies to our American friends. But your milk, I want to know though, does your milk have to be warm? Because I don't think I could duck cookies in cold milk, but I think warm milk and cookies I could.
Oh no, it has to be cold. I can't imagine warm milk. I don't think I've ever recently had. I'm trying to think, have I ever had warm milk? Obviously, as a baby, you would have had, but oh God, no. But oddly enough, I like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's almost the same, but with some cocoa powder.
I'm surprised with how young you are. You can't actually remember having warm milk as a baby because it's not that
Well,
long since.
no, only what, 17 years ago, maybe. I'm like one of them cars. You know the old style cars, Alan. If you keep driving it again and again and again, it clocks over and gets back to zero. That's my age.
Talking about looking young, yeah, we've got a guest tonight, and it's someone who always looks young, always just looks young. In fact, he looks 17 every time I see him, never looks a day older. Will Chung, welcome to the show.
Oh, Alan, you're so kind. I wish I was 17. No, I don't. I don't wish I was 17. Maybe about 27. But yeah. No, thank you. I'm getting some grey hair. You can see people on YouTube can see the grey hair.
He's got one grey hair here, one grey hair, and he's going to have got grey hair.
I don't have any grey hairs.
And neither do I, as he says, put his hands on his hair.
If you're not watching on YouTube, Alan has just covered his hair with his hands, and actually, he looked more like me doing that. So yeah, yeah, I don't have any grey hair, but to be fair, I guess you play the numbers game. That if you don't have that much, there's not a lot to go grey.
Valid point. Valid point. I've been grey. I want to say for over 20 years. I think I was in my 30s when I started to get the odd grey hair here and there, and then it's especially down the side. The sideburns. They went really silver at one stage. I just looked like I got silver sideburns. Where now I'm very mousy looking.
What's shocking, Alan, is I've seen the wedding pictures, and you were using Just for Men before the wedding pictures, and looking, looking in your 30s, and the stress of this podcast, as people on YouTube can see, has just turned you back to normal.
Just turn me back to
Did that camera just automatically zoom into the grey hair just then?
I think
really did.
If you're on YouTube, then my camera zoomed right into the grey hairs. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe if I move backwards or forwards, the camera just knows what it's doing. But that was a great. That would have been really good editing, wouldn't it? If we'd have tried to do that on a purpose. But no, it wasn't. I suppose we're going to jump into some topics. We've got lots of topics to go through tonight, Ian. And we've got Will on. So there were 2 races happening this week. There's probably more than 2 races, if I'm honest, but there were 2 big races happening this week. And we've got Will on to talk about one of them, because he's going to talk on his podcast about the other. But Will, we talked about London, Tough Mudder London last week. And I mentioned that Mud Mile. Why is there no Mud Mile? And you come and told me. Tell my listeners, why is there no, first of all, why is there no Mud Mile at London?
Unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, the ground is too flinty. So the water stays in there for a few hours and it just soaks straight into the ground. Those that may have done Tough Mudder London West before, there's normally this bit of water pit that happens just before Block Ness. But again, that just soaks through the water. So trying to dig big 3 or 4 big trenches, no way. And also there's again, there's done London West, when you're doing Kiss of Mud, you'll know you'll just get scratched to pieces as well, just because again it doesn't get muddy, it just gets all scratchy and flinty. So it is Tough Mudder, but it's without the mud, so it's tough.
Just tough.
Yeah. No mud.
How tough was it?
Mudder.
Mud Mudder.
Tough mudless mudder.
Tough Mudder. The mud is horribly tough, so you get an extra mud in there, surely.
No, I like tough mudless mudder better.
Yeah, that could work. And I interrupt you there, Alan, but because I've interrupted, I'm going to carry on and say, well, what was Augustus Gloop like?
Ooh, well, it's very solid. It looked like so for those that don't know, Augustus Gloop was back. I did not look at the map, so I think it was only one of you guys in one of my WhatsApp groups said, "Hey, Augustus Gloop is back." I was like, "Oh, amazing!" Just the same water. I think the power shower. They need a power shower sponsor, because that was really going for it. Nice big pits. It was great, and it was good to be on course. And I think also, because I remember you guys talking about the difference between the 5K, which was a 6.2K, and the 15K, which was 16.6K, and the obstacles there. And I think having some of those big showcase obstacles exclusive for the 15K is really good, because it does start to push people to do the longer one. So that was there. And also, again, I didn't check the map. So as soon as I turned up for this one, I was like, oh, there's Shawshanks, because you don't see Shawshanks very often. I don't think we've seen it for about 3 or 4 years, if anything. And that's never been at London West, I don't think. It's normally been London South or something like that. So it was great to see that one back on course. So 2 not new obstacles, but returning obstacles. But I think for a lot of people, they're one of the favourite ones, rather than just going, oh, good, it's swinged in or whatever.
So I've got the 2 questions on the back of that. Augustus Gloop, were we going up the tube, or were we going up just simple netting in a circle?
It's the current old version, where you're climbing a ladder with the tube around you and the gust of water coming straight down. So you're not climbing the old school net, because that was old school and that was really hard. And also what they used to do, Alan, if you remember, the gap to getting into the tube was much lower. So you basically had to do almost a full immersion into the water to dip in before going into the tube. No, it's fine. You can bob your head a little bit, but you're not into immersion then. And the water, as you're getting into the pit, is only kind of waist deep or something like that. So it's the, I guess, a slightly friendlier version. But again, if it's at something like World's Toughest Mudder, and hopefully we'll get a podcast with the team on soon, maybe they go back old school, because I know, Alan, you're only doing World's Toughest Mudder, but it'd be quite nice for you to have the really old, cold, wet one.
I bring it all on. Bring it all on, Will. My mind is set this year. I am set for it. I know what to expect in some ways, and my mind is set. I know I can get the distance now after doing other week, so I'm all set for big distances and see how far I can go. My second question is Shawshank. Is this I can't remember. Shawshank. Is this the one where you go through the tube and then you drop out into like a mud pit, water pit?
Correct. So you kind of start crawling a tube. Generally, you're crawling the tube on your back and kind of pulling yourself with a bit of a rope. I'm very small, so I can actually go in all four and crawl up. So it's a lot easier for me than someone like you, Alan, that has to kind of drag yourself up. It's on an incline. So when you get to the back, to the top of the tube or the end of the tube, you're basically then falling backwards into a big pit of water.
Oh, now I think they have that Yorkshire World's Toughest. Yeah, Yorkshire World's European Toughest.
Europe's Toughest.
But you fell into like a really muddy pool that was more like sewer rat. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes. So just keep adding a lot more water and a deeper pit, and that's basically it. Yes, you're right. It was World's Toughest Mudder Midlands, wasn't it? Yes.
Was it Midlands? Was it? Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah, that was awful. That one.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Yeah, Shawshank and Surah are kind of like cousins because, for example, in Scotland, you have a version of it where you go straight in the lake, or you used to at the old venue, of course, not anymore because we've moved from that castle. But sometimes it would depend on what sign the Tough Mudder HQ happened to take with them, whether it was Surat or whether it was Shawshank, because it could be either, because it wasn't muddy enough to be Surat, but you weren't having a deep enough backwards fall for it truly to be Shawshank. So whichever one they happened to be carrying around, we put that in. And of course, at Northwest, they tried doing Shawshank once. Didn't work because the water didn't stay, and instead we have the world's muddiest sewer rat, basically.
I love that. You did Infinity, Will. Did you get some? Have you got some X's to show us? Because we know we really want you on so we can show you the X's. We're not bothered about anything else that you did, but just X's we're interested in. I'm joking with that.
So, as many of you Tough Mudder honks know, we Tough Mudder have moved to hexes, and this is a cross-brand thing where you're kind of putting your hexagon tokens and you put them together and you can have your trifecta, and it can be a Spartan trifecta or a Decker Tough Mudder Spartan trifecta, and it doesn't matter how you're putting your pieces together, and it makes a really nice collection. So I was able to do the 5K and the 15K on the Sunday and the Infinity on the Saturday. So I actually have a trifecta, so let me show you one of the medals, and on YouTube, they'll be able to see it. So that's, there we go. That's a 15K. As you can see, all the medals, all the normal round medals, they're all the same. They have 2026 on there, but the medal is the same, and it's a really nice back medal. And so it's the ribbon that's different. So you can see that, and so the ribbons are all different. So here, again, I know not people just listening, you can then take out your little hex because it's magnet to the center, and then you get your trifecta medal. So again, there's your trifecta medal. You can see there's a ×1, and then of course you can take that out, so you can change it for a ×2, ×3, ×4. So that's one side, but then on the other side you've got spaces for your 3 different tokens. So then you can, and I know it's not great TV, not great radio, but you can get your 3 hexes like that, and then you've got your your trifecta in that sense. So you got your ×1 that side, trifecta that side, and then imagine you'd go do Spartan weekend trifecta, you'd have your ×2 on your next one, and then of course your sprint, super, and beast on the other side. So it's a really nice way of collecting the medals together. And again, for the honks, I just want to show this one off. This is the belt buckle. Just wanted to, show you,
Wow.
Alan, the belt
Yeah.
buckle. That's
Jealous.
50k and above. And again, my 50k hex comes out. So if I was able to get 50, no, this the 50. So if you can get 60, I got 55 official kilometers. So if you got 60, of course, you would get a 60 hex or a 70 hex or however way you get on. So yeah, they're the new buckles and the new medals. Honestly, now I've seen them and I kind of touching them, the really heavyweight metals. They are really, these are ones that people would honestly treasure. But now I've got my hands on it and got the hexes out and putting them together. It's a freaking cool idea. And I can see people, it's a bit like the headbands. They go, oh, I've got this. And then, maybe, somewhere like on the wall, you could kind of get all your little hexes together so that they don't have to stick on the medal. And I know there'll be people that will somehow get all these hexes and start to present them in different ways. But when people see them and get to hold the medals, they're going to be really impressed. I was really, and you know how many medals I've got from kind of running and stuff, but I'm really impressed with these medals and the way that they've been put together. It was really cool. In terms of Infinity, sorry, I'll just go one more. In terms of Infinity, I was really surprised to see Nikki Kawemba, last year's female World's Toughest Mudder winner. She was there. Her and Marco. Marco went and ran it as well. He did really well. Nikki was flying. I ran kind of bits of the course with her, but she was flying. She's done really well. She's back for Scotland. If anyone is wanting to have a bit of mileage for Scotland, and then of course she's going to be back for World's Toughest Mudder. So she's really on the training now, ready for when is it, about 6 weeks time.
Cool. Before we go into the results, because we've got all the results to give away, the medals, your trifecta medal,
yes.
Do you have to claim that? Do you have to do anything special to claim it for our listeners, or do you just go and pick it up once you've at the event? So can anyone pick it up, or is there a special way to pick it up?
I had to go to Mudder Services. So yeah, you have to go to Mudder Services. They've got all your tickets and everything on the PC, so they can check it out. That whether you got it's a 1 time, 2 times, or whatever. So yes, Mudder Services, or I guess any sort of info desk. If you're at Spartan or Decker, they should have them around.
Brilliant. Shall we have a look at some of the results, and we'll see where you've come as well, Will, because you did the Infinity.
I did.
Ian, have you got something to say first?
Yeah, I was going to ask, Will, the Infinity belt buckle, I know it's on a ribbon there for those of us not watching on YouTube. Is it an actual belt buckle? It is an actual belt buckle. So you can remove the ribbon and you can put it on your belt. And that's so frustrating, Alan, because I like those style of belt buckles.
Yeah.
And the chance of me getting anywhere close to 50k, I just don't know. I wonder, I'm going to have to contact Decker to see whether they're going to do something similar for the Decker Ultra. And if so, I may need to figure out how to do Decker Ultra. I may need to figure it out.
Yeah, that would be so good. That'd be good if they have belt buckles for all the ultras. I know they have this Spartan Ultra, you get one. So Tough Mudder, so it'd be daft if they didn't do it at Decker, wouldn't it?
It would. I'll reach out, and listener, if someone reminds me, I'll let you know next week. But spoiler alert, Alan won't be here to remind me next week. It's terrible. He gets married. He then comes on, does the show. Yeah, even, like I say, goes grey again for us all. And then apparently after a marriage or a wedding, you go on a honeymoon, Alan? Is that just an excuse spending money?
How selfish.
It's selfish, isn't it? 2 weeks of sitting in the sun, and I'm actually taking my running shoes. How sad is that I'm actually taking running shoes so I can go running? Because training doesn't stop. World's Toughest Mudder, as Will's mentions, around the corner. I still need to train.
Alan, you say that my training has stopped.
Has your training ever started?
That's also quite true. We had this at Deadly Dozen over the weekend. Someone asked about training. I said, "Oh, in these parts, that just means that the water's falling out the sky again."
He's training.
Training. Right, Johnny,
Let's
get
have
the
a look at
results.
some results. Let's go females. So 20 females took part, which is, I think that's a good number, that will, Infinity. I think about an average on last year. But you're right, Nikki Crumbo, 6 laps. She did 3:15 and 3:05s, which I thought was quite interesting, Will. Total of 68.55 kilometres. Hallie Millett. Don't know Hallie. That's a name that's not dropped up on my list recently. Will.
She's American. She came over for the race.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Obviously looking for contender status of some kind then.
Likely.
Yeah. Nadine Vent in 3rd, Louise Markham 4th, and Natasha Din in 5th. Couple of them names we know, Louise, Nadine. If you look further down, there were a few other people that we know as well. Well done to everyone. I'm not going to give you all a shout out.
Whoa, you will get shouted out if you don't say hello to Joe and Max.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to go down the whole list so I don't get shouted at. 6 onwards: Debbie Bowman, Sherry Dawkins, Lucy Wallace, Laura Webb, Alicia Taylor, Lucy Marples, Kara Bowen, Beth Marsden Riley, Jana Brooks, Megan Boyd Rees, Rebecca Want, Maxine Johnson, Joe Wilson, Kirsty Alsop, and Samantha Gascoigne. You're quite right. I have actually get told off quite often by them.
They saved you.
So thank you for that. Men, good to see Craig Derbyshire back on the list. He seems to be doing quite well at these lately.
Yeah. And as you can see, he was the only person in the whole of the lineup that got 4 laps in.
So yeah, went straight at with 4:15 and then threw a 5K in at the end. I'm guessing he must have been running out of time, so he did the 5K.
Yeah, he finished at 8:47, so there's only 13 minutes left. Do you want to finish off the top 5 then? I can talk a little bit about the course and why these numbers happen this way.
You can. 2nd, Daniel Hawthorne. 3rd, Marco Santos Moura. 4th, Mike the Machine. I love Mike the Machine. So who is Mike the Machine, Will? I need to know more.
I actually don't think I know his second name. He was at World's Toughest Mudder, if you remember, and a bit like you, knowing that actually you can put anything you want in the name, Muddy Duck. He's gone from Mike the Machine, and now he's known as Mike the Machine, and he actually is a machine. He's really good. The 4 laps and 1 lap, actually, because it was 16.6, one, it was a little bit longer than your 15. So that's why I think not many people, actually no one apart from Craig, got 4 laps in just because of the timing. Again, for those that haven't done Infinity, there's a total of 8 hours plus 1, but the actual cutoff for your last 15K lap is 3 hours in, so six hours into the race. So that kind of gives you an average of 2 hours per lap, with also your in and out or any other penalties. And most people can pretty much get that. But because it's 16K, just that extra 5 minutes or so for that lap starts to add up over, kind of 3 or 4 laps. So that's why you then have 3 hours to do 6K laps. And actually you can get around maybe 2 or, well, probably 3 if you're fast enough. Like Daniel Hawthorne, he did 3 and 3. If it was a shorter, a proper 15K lap, he probably would have got a 4th lap in and then maybe a 5K lap in. It's just how it goes and the way that the laps were. And I don't know whether you guys remember when I spoke to Karen last year when we talked about World's Toughest Mudder, and I was talking about how hilly Henley is. And Henley is a hilly course. And I said last year, you've changed it around, you've found even more elevation. I can't believe you've done that. Actually, they made a few more changes and it was even more elevation this year. I don't know how they found more hills, but they managed to find more hills. My 68, I didn't do 68, 55. My 55 that I did, 55K, I got 2,600 meters of elevation out of that. So absolutely ridiculous amount of elevation out of that. It was silly. Not silly. It was hard on everyone. So yeah, good. It was really pleasant running, apart from all the uphill, which is probably half of it. The other half is only downhill. There's hardly any flat, but it's a really good trail running area, and it was beautiful. The views, again, those that may have seen it, it's the Chiltern Hills, absolutely lovely. Saturday was such a great day, really nice and sunny weather. Sunday, not so much. It was really pleasant to be out there for long. But I don't know how they managed to find more hills, but there was definitely more hills than last year.
16th place, Will, were you happy with that?
Yes. I sort of nearly kind of had time for another one, but I wasn't sure. I was starting to feel it. And I think that last lap of the 6K took me about 1 hour 20. So if you look at my time, I possibly would have got in under the 9 hours, but I wasn't particularly confident to go out again and kind of do another 6 or 7K and for it not to count. So I decided to stay in. But no, I was probably aiming for 50 anyway on probably a flatter course. There was a point when I felt quite good and I thought maybe there's the 4 laps in there, but I think the elevation took everybody by surprise. Hence why, again, I said Craig is the only person that got 4 of those big laps in, because I think part of the elevation, part is a bit longer, but there was a lot more elevation, I think, than usual.
Yeah. Good to see 105 men took part.
Yeah, you know what? It was a really big wave, and I don't think I've seen a wave of infinity wave like that large for quite a while. So it was really good. It was great to be back. You know, kind of first Tough Mudder back for me, first obstacle race back of 2026, and to start with what really was a bang was pretty cool. It's really cool to see.
I think it was very interesting as well when I was looking at the results there. Sorry, Ian, I cut you off there. Is that you've got a lot of athletes that I know that can go further than 50K, but they got the 50K in purely so they can get contender status for World's Toughest, and people stopped at that distance.
It was interesting. I spoke to a lot of people, Stu Nevin, that everyone knows, Matt Biscoe, and they were only wanting to get the 50, and they knew they had a lot of time. I think, well, all of them are faster than me, so they definitely could have got more in if they wanted to. I think it's kind of is the first one back, so you're kind of just seeing where you are. I think the elevation and the lap length, and I know I keep repeating myself, I think that probably took people by surprise a little bit, which is why it made it that little bit tougher. But myself, I was like, if I can get 50 here, then I've got my belt buckle, and everyone was like, we want that belt buckle. And let me just show you this again, Alan. That this is a really lovely belt buckle, right? It's beautiful. So, you know what? Midlands is afterwards Toughest Mudder. I know. I've not done Scotland. I think it'd be easier to get 50 at Scotland, even Yorkshire, which again is afterwards Toughest Mudder. But if you remember, Yorkshire was really nice running, undulating, but it was really nice running, one big hill. So I think this was probably the toughest place to get your mileage in. So I think for those that are doing World's Toughest Mudder, they kind of had their head screwed on correctly, because you don't want to take, yes, there's still a few weeks out, but I don't think you wanted to take it out of you too much at this stage. You're not quite on a taper, but you're also not wanting to really kill yourself now, are you? You're kind of on that plateau before starting to taper it down.
Says Alan did 84 miles the other week, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, you didn't know how far you were going to go. You kind of didn't have much choice in that. No. It was how it worked out. Well, how does it work with rounding when they can't count up to 15 and 5? Because I noticed, for example, second place was 68 K. Did they get credited with 70 or 65?
It's rounded down. There's no 65 chip, so it's rounded down to 60.
Oh God, that's such a shame, isn't it? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's poor Daniel. So that's one question. The other one, and I could probably look on the website to find this. Is it going to be Infinity at Tough Mudder, South Manchester? Well, extreme South Manchester.
They might as well call it Tough Mudder Crew because it's closer to Crew than it is to Manchester. No, I think it's just the 15 and the 5 though in Manchester.
That's a shame because that one, if you wanted to get big mileage, the
Flat.
nearest hill is about 5 miles from that site.
Why do you think I managed to get 60 in London South? Because it's a flat as a pancake at London South.
Yeah, unless we're going to start putting hills in, if you want, you can't even do that anymore, can you, with a season pass? You can't do your own Infinity, sadly. You can only register for one event, which is a shame. Something I've noticed a few people talking about, Will, and I'll give a shout out to I think Leonsky who mentioned this was for a start of season. There wasn't a lot of groups there running as groups. I know a lot of you were doing Infinity, so that might have led to you all being split up across seeds. But can you talk to that at
Yeah, so
all?
I guess I'll start with a slightly more positive that there was 15,000 there over the whole weekend, including the kids, and probably spectators as well, but 15,000, so it's still a really good number. I went out in Infinity, so I didn't see kind of what was going out on Saturday morning afterwards, but I did go out on kind of second or third wave on the Sunday. Um, and you were there, Alan and Ian, in the years when you had Mud Crow and Short Shorts and Solo Mudders and everyone at Muddy Race even had a bit of a group, but like big flags. If you remember, the people were taking around flags, especially the Mud Crow. And this
Yeah.
time it wasn't. There was a smattering of people from groups. So of course I was a solo, but I was actually a solo in my wave. There was the only mud crow that I actually saw was Simo Ansel, and everyone knows Simo, and he ran around Saturday and Sunday. I saw some of Team Broken, no squid hats, no squid hats on course, which was also really strange. So, in terms of that type of community, maybe because it was the first one, maybe there's just other things going on. Maybe there's all at nuclear. I don't know. We'll talk about nuclear in a minute, I guess. But those big community groups like Solo Mudders and Mudcrow, it was very, very different. But the second wave, because I went on the second wave, I think it was the second wave on Sunday, packed absolutely from start of the pen to the end of the pen, full of people. And I think the second and third after that was also really busy. And actually, kids waves on the Sunday, they were still setting people off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So hopefully that's really good for the incoming and the future. Noticeably quiet on a Sunday, but it usually is. But of course, I reckon out of that 14,000, I would guess about 10,000 was on the Saturday. So it was noticeably quieter, but still a great atmosphere. Some new sponsors as well, and they moved Everest. So Everest again was back at the end. But no, it was really cool. Yes, the community in that aspect I think was lacking, but I think Tough Mudder are still probably pretty happy with the numbers that was going on there.
That's pretty cool. Talking about numbers and staying with Tough Mudder, Thailand had its first Tough Mudder earlier this month. Now, I'd probably sent you the link, so you probably know how many it is. But what do you think to the first Thailand Tough Mudder attracting 2,000 athletes to its first ever event? Now, I would normally share this on our screens, but it's taking up that much data that it's actually making us freeze. So if you've seen a freeze 2 seconds ago, it's because I opened up the link. So I do apologise. We're not going to share it on our YouTube. But 2,000 athletes taking on Thailand's first Tough Mudder. I mean, globally, they've never been in Thailand before, which is a massive impact. But 2,000 people, that's pretty big.
I'd have to check the stats, Alan. They may have beaten the first Thailand High Rocks. It probably came close because I want to say if High Rocks beat them, it was only by maybe 1,000 or so. That's super impressive when, whilst we all love OCR and that, I think it's fair to say we're in a little bit of a kind of valley, but aiming for a peak again. I think is a nice way to say where we are. Yeah. And it's not the peak. Tough Mudder's not in the peak of people's consciousness at the moment. So for Thailand to get 2,000, that's incredible. I can't wait to see maybe in a few years some athletes from Thailand come over to World's Toughest Mudder.
Oh, how good would that be?
I think I
Go on, Will.
sorry, I just think it's amazing. You know, of course, Spartan has been over in Asia. Tough Mudder was, excuse me, has been in Australia, and since COVID, you know, it kind of what's the word I'm looking for, Ian? It's contracted a little bit because, of course, there's lots of Australia, New Zealand, lots in Germany. There's only one in Germany now. So actually now spreading the wings back out is a really good sign. But yeah, Spartan's been out there, and we know the differences, and maybe there's just that bit more fun aspect of going out there and doing a Tough Mudder. I think this is brilliant, not only for Tough Mudder, but I think for obstacle racing as a whole, as more and more are getting out there and having that fun. And yeah, wouldn't it be amazing if we had guys from Thailand coming over to either the UK or World Toughest Mudder in US, if it ever goes back to the US, or wherever it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be in Germany in 2028. We'll see.
Okay,
Without a
Alan,
doubt.
before people get angry at me in the comments, I did misspoke. The first High Rocks in Thailand did have significantly more athletes. It had about 8,000 in 2025. I was thinking, and with apologies to our Southeast Asian listeners, I was thinking of Taipei in Taiwan, which only had 1,600 in 2024. So apologies to those athletes out there, but given Bangkok wasn't into 2024, I'm going to say it would have been about 1,600 there if it was 2024. But 2,000 is still incredible for a Tough Mudder. Like you say, they'd probably been happy with 500.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have. I mean, I think it's amazing. I think 2,000 for its first event, absolutely amazing. It's great that Tough Mudder is still growing, as we've talked about. I like the analogy in that we're in a valley at this moment in time. So we've climbed the peak and we're dropping down before we come up to the next big peak. I like that. Yeah, so it's great they are. Will, contender status for WTM, does this mean that when the pits go open at the end of this month, that you are signing up for World's Toughest Mudder, or what are your plans now? Because now you've got contender status, and I've seen you've put out there that you've got contender status. So I'm thinking, might I have a running buddy?
Wow. Actually, I was probably one of the first to get contender status for 2026 already, because I went and did Midlands, if you remember, which is a week after World's Toughest Mudder, and I got my contender status there. No is the short answer. I've been umming and ahhing quite a lot of whether I wanted to do it here. You know what? I enjoyed doing media so much and doing something different than running around in the cold, that's what I'm going to do again. So for UK OCR, and also I've been talking to Tough Mudder about some other things that we might be able to do. But no, I will be running around, but in a blue bib rather than any sort of contender or any other bib, getting interviews again, speaking to people overnight, hopefully kind of cheering them on without helping them, as it were, and just being a nuisance again. So no pain cave for me. I'm too old now and too much of a wuss to endure any sort of cold. No, medium.
For any of you who have qualified and are going to World's Toughest Mudder, as I mentioned just then, pit opens. If you've got elite contender, I think it opens on the 29th of May and contender opens on the 30th of May, and the rest of them open on the 1st of June, if I remember rightly, or something like that. It's over a week period. So check them out. Make sure you get in there early. If you are, tip there for before we go into it, if you have got friends, get together on the phone, yeah, so that when you book them together and you get the pits together, if that's what you want to do. So a little tip for people out there. Apart from Tough Mudder this last weekend, there was another little race going off down on London. We call it Northeast or East. I think it's Northeast, isn't it? In Essex.
It's closer to London than Tough Mudder's ever been.
It certainly isn't, without a doubt. Nuclear Racers hosted the British Championships, run by British Obstacle Sports, and we do have some results. We're not going to go into great detail on this, guys, because while I get the results up, Will, do you want to give a quick plug for your show that comes out Monday?
Yeah, of course. So, of course, I am recording Who's Hot, which would be the British Champs review show. We've got Finn, of course, Finley Greenleaf and Becky Neal as the co-presenters. We're just looking for a guest, I think, because of the way we record it, it may be a little bit difficult. But because of the results that you're about to say, Alan, maybe we don't necessarily need another guest. But yes, Who's Hot is out on your podcast next Monday. And then whilst you're still loading things up, we are also back again following Monday with Tamar and Andy Durrance, who are the captain and vice captain of British Obstacle Sports team, because we'll be previewing and talking about the Euros, which are happening very soon too.
Alan, look, I've got my predictions ready.
Oh, come on, give me your prediction. Everyone wants to know your predictions.
We've got ready. Okay, well, I predicted that Daniel Titcomb would win.
Yeah,
Finley would do. I had Finley at third place. I'll be honest. I'm sorry, Finley. You can be mad at me. That's fine. And I did have Gavin in second place, so I was close. I was very close.
I love how you've got top three, but just slightly wrong place.
Hey, I'm good at this. What can I say?
You are absolutely brilliant. So for all you people who are watching on YouTube, you can see the results. If you're not, we'll go through them. We'll go your top 10 for people. Dan Titcomb won. Finley Greenleaf in second place. Gavin Hogarth third. Morgan Maxwell, Russell Walsh, Darren Martin, Ramunas Wickus, Kenny Sams, James Burton, and in 10th place, Andy Bright. Absolutely well done to all of you guys. Absolutely amazing field. And that. Before I move over to the women's here, let's see if you can predict the women's before I actually show people the results. Get your piece of paper up and let's go women's.
Okay, I thought I went back and forth on this, whether it was Shiloh or whether it was going to be Becky. In the end, I went with my podcast gut of saying Becky, with Shiloh probably second, maybe Libby third, but I really struggled with third place. So let's see what they are.
You know what, Ian? I'm really glad that you went with Becky first because, of course, Finley a couple of weeks ago bet against Becky and got told off. So you should never bet against Becky.
No, absolutely. And one day I'll actually know how to pronounce Shiloh's name. I always call her Shy, which is her Instagram, but I was trying to be professional and completely forgot her name. See, it is, but unfortunately, I got third place wrong, and I bet against Tamar, which is never good, is it, Alan?
It's not, no. But quite right, Becky won it, Shyla second, Tamar third, then we have Pip Rainbow, Louise Ferryman, Grace Campbell, Cheryl Beach, Emma Cross, Indy Miller, Kirsty Kennedy, and Elena King. I think that's 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, yes. So that was your top 10. Becky's now 2 from 2 in the UK OCR series as well. Well, this could be Becky's year.
Could be. I think it already is Becky's year so far, isn't it? You know, that's some good going. And actually, Finn, and we'll talk more about it, of course, on Who's Hot, but I don't think Finn will even bet against himself. Becky, he thought third place. behind Morgan, who was doing really well, and Dan. I think they both put Dan in first place anyway. If Dan's racing, it's very difficult to bet against Dan.
Too right, too right. Don't want to take nothing away from everyone else, but Gavin, third place. I know on his own course he did really well up at Tartan Warrior. You know, it's his own course. He knows the obstacles. He knows them really well. Maybe had a slight advantage there, but he's come down here to the British champs and he's just consolidated what he did up there and said, hey, this is not a one-off. This is not me running up there. I'm coming here. I'm here this year to race and compete. And, you know, did I have him in my top three? I'm going to be honest. I didn't. So I'm sorry, Gavin. I wouldn't have had you in my top three. I always have you in my top 10. But I think you took some amazing scalps there, young man. Absolutely well done. You know, rocking it for the Scottish. Well done.
I don't think we
did.
I can't believe I can't believe your predictions are dry. I expected the cat to have ate your predictions. That's what I was expecting. So like just a slavery piece of paper mess. Again, we don't want to talk too much about it because we'll talk about it in Who's Hot. But Ramunas, Ramsey's done so well because, of course, you kind of always think that Ramsey's a short course specialist. Yeah, he's gone out and done, you know, the proper long course and has done really well as well. You expect, I guess, that top 10, you pretty much expect those people to be in there. But Ramsey, you always think isn't he, not 100, the 400 or the 3K. So he's done really well too.
New coach, new team, showing his team how to run. That's where I see him. Absolutely flying. Podcast coming out with Ramsey very, very soon. Keep an eye out, people. Or did it come out last week? I can remember.
It came out Monday.
I can remember when they come out.
It came out a few days ago. It came out Monday.
There we go.
What happens when you get married?
I know.
What happens when you get married? You just get everything. Get married. I do have some news, by the way. It has been confirmed that Deca Ultra does have a belt buckle. So if you have stepped away from OCR for a while, maybe because it's too cold, there is your opportunity. It is hard to do. It is 5 Decas back to back, but there is a belt buckle and there's 2 opportunities. You can do it in Manchester, although tickets are very limited. And Alan just announced a while ago, we got Deca London West. You can probably guess where it is.
Devon.
Close. Very, very close. I was calling it Cornwall East or Portsmouth North. It's in Farnborough.
All right. Oh, gosh, that is pretty west. That's very west.
Very southwest. Before we move on, though, but trifecta of belt buckles. So you could actually do Manchester, Yorkshire on the Saturday, Manchester on the Sunday to get you 2 belt buckles, and then get down to Spartan, London South. It is London South, isn't it? Spartan, yeah. For your ultra. A trifecta of belt buckles, Alan.
Oh, these are all September, aren't they? Are they September?
July. July is Manchester and Yorkshire.
Okay, so hang on a minute. So we're talking about the W2M in June. We've got Overload in July, and then I'm going to go and do a whole weekend. I've just got married. This could be the shortest marriage. It could be divorce time, Will, if I go away for like 3 weekends and within the first 2 months of marriage.
Look, Alan, Paula knew all about you when she said yes. So Paula's only got herself to blame, and I know she listens. So Paula, sorry, love, but you just got to put up with it.
Alan, last year, Paula agreed to marry you this year if you got a certain distance at WTM. Go and watch it. It's been shared a lot. Imagine she'll marry you again if you get a trifecta of belt buckles.
I don't think she would. Yeah, no, I would see if I went to go a trifecta of belt buckles, that would be like the divorce side of things. It really, really would. Especially when I've got a backyard ultra to train for in September. So yeah, I need to. There's lots of things that's happening, and
Let's see. July is 3 months. What's the maximum amount for an annulment? Just in case.
Surely as well though, it's good training for your backyard ultra because you don't need to do as much mileage. It's like it's just a nice warm up for you. I don't know what your problem is, Alan. I really don't.
I don't know what my problem is either. Um, maybe this is why this is my fourth marriage, because I do all these silly races that you lot, you know. I am a marketer's dream. I keep saying this before, that you guys said to me, "Here, can you do this?" And I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Here we go, no problems whatsoever. Talking about silly things, we've done run the counties. We've done run the counties. I'm on 3 counties so far. I'm not winning though. I've got Tamar out there who's currently done 5 counties. Tim and Steve have both done 3 each. The others have not given me their stats yet. But run the counties on Strava. Tamar's smashing it with 5 at this moment in time.
I'm currently on 1.
You're currently on 1. People have got to tag me in them. Hashtag run the counties. Will's not even in the run the counties group. So I know he's now looking.
I'm just looking now. Look, I'm on Strava now.
Yeah, everyone's everyone on YouTube saying, "What's Will doing on Strava?"
Yeah, I need to sign up to a group, and yeah, thus far I've done 1, which is the county I live in. I'm not doing very well.
No, you're not. Not at all, mate. Not at all. Let's talk a bit of controversy for a bit. Because in our group this week, in our Facebook group, we had a little post came up, and it was about Spartan, and it's a little controversy regarding Spartan. Have you managed to have a look at this, Ian? Because this is about the pricing of Spartan races. Now we'll share it for our YouTube fans.
Yeah, I've looked at this as it loads up. Obviously, I completely understand everything has to go up in price. It's the way it is. But the counter argument is you have to price to your market. And it does seem like there's a little bit of maybe a tug of war going between the price they think the market can withstand compared to the price they actually need to charge to get Spartans working. Would you agree, Alan?
Without a doubt. I mean, this seems absolutely extortionate to me. The 10K is currently £159.78. A 21K, £213, and then the Ultra, £272. I really don't know where they're getting these prices from here. You know, let's just talk 10K before we talk about the big. £160 near enough for a 10K race.
Yeah, and the point I'd probably make is that you only get 5 less obstacles on there than you do with the beast. So technically, it's good value, or the beast is really, really poor value. I'm just gonna quickly check up. I don't know if Will knows off the top of his head what a Tough Mudder is currently priced at, because it'd be nice to compare and contrast. So let me try. Oh no, I don't want to subscribe now. Why is there so many pop-ups on Tough Mudder? It's ridiculous. No, I don't want to subscribe. Sorry, listener, this is terrible. Let's have a look at Manchester. At the moment, a 15K at Manchester is on the Saturday 113 and 108 for the 15K, and that's 20 plus obstacles. For 5K, it's 100 quid. It's 97.47. And I appreciate that Spartan is different race,
Yeah,
and it's competitive race, but I don't think there's enough competitive athletes willing to pay that price, and that might be why it's costing so much.
could it be that they're pushing people purely to the season pass? You know, when you look at the season pass, I think the season pass was £499. If you get the season pass, you've got 4 events. £150 a pop for the basic ones, it's good value for money when you look at 499. But I mean, currently, I wouldn't pay £160 for a 10K. I would definitely not pay £200 for a. I don't know what you can get for that much money. When it comes to value for money, I just don't know what you're going to get. And not only that, I mean, we've had quite a lot of comments on this. 13,000 people have viewed it. And I think there's 40 or 50 comments on there. 64 comments currently on there. This is in our Facebook group, people. Obstacle Course Racing, and then in brackets UK.ocr. Big thank you to Aaron McKennell for sharing it. Yeah, absolutely
Alan,
shocking.
Here's something weird for you. I just clicked on the Scotland. Tough Mudder Scotland is the next event, I think, coming up. Tough Mudder Scotland, 15K on the start day, 135.38 for 15K. 5K, 119.13, okay? On the Sunday, you have Spartan Scotland. Now, for the sprint, do you want to take a guess at how much the sprint is? Bearing in mind, a 5K Tough Mudder is 119.
The sprint,
what do you reckon,
519. The sprint should be less than that. We know it should be, but you're gonna tell me it's more, aren't you?
Tough Mudder sprint 120, Spartan sprint 146.47.
Oh, wow.
Super 173.10. Beast 226.36. For comparison, you could do the Infinity at Tough Mudder Scotland for 184.11. I don't know how they're pricing these up, because it's not like you could actually make a debate for pricing it the other way, because Tough Mudder has the big obstacles. You have your block Nash, you have your massive cost for digging stuff. You've got your massive, I still call it giant wedgie. I know it's called Mudder Horn, but I still call it giant wedgie because I'm an old person who remembers it at WTM. You've got that kind of apparatus to set up in Spartan, and all my Spartan honks are going to get mad at me. They throw some nets on the ground, put up a few walls, and give you a stick.
And a hay bale. Stick in a hay bale, isn't it?
Stick in a hay bale, yeah. So that actually, looking at Scotland prices is probably even worse than looking at what you shared.
Yeah. And it's all bad. Will, have you got anything to say about Spartan? That, maybe you can put a positive spin on this, because me and Ian are just completely flabbergasted.
I mean, I'm very fortunate as a Tough Mudder ambassador, as I get sign people up, and I managed to get a free season pass this year. So I'm very fortunate. I don't need to worry about ticket prices. However, if I did, I wouldn't be at every single one. That's really, really difficult. And I think the last Spartan I did was Spartan Tenerife. And I think if I was going to spend that money, I wouldn't want to go to Pippingford. I would go back to Tenerife. Or for those that have never done Spartan Andorra, oh my God, that's amazing. So there's, you know what, if you're going to spend the money, spend it wisely, go out, go have an experience, somewhere maybe nice, hot and sunny. Tenerife in December is still nice and hot and sunny. And you actually don't mind spending that amount of money then, because it's a whole part of the experience. It's a lot of money. And if I had to pay that, I would have to pick and choose. Certainly.
Yeah, I agree. On to better news. We have got Nuts Challenge, are currently looking for volunteers for their Saturday, 30th of May. Sign up online, go to Nuts Challenge on Facebook. You will get links to that. And the other top story I want to talk about, Ian, before I pass it on to some fitness racing podcast news, is the Cocodona 250. We talked about this last week, as in terms of what we mentioned, that there was a tragic accident happened out there. However, in better news this week, we are going to talk about a female winning the race. So this is not the first time a female's won the whole race. If you remember, we had Jasmine Paris won the Spine a few years ago, broke the record. But the Cogadona 250 is one of these races that's so well renowned. Some of the top athletes participate in this, and we actually had an ex-World's Toughest Mudder athlete participate in this, so you can see how quality this race is. So Rachel Ettrickham won in a total of 56 hours 9 minutes 48 seconds. The second was a male, Killian Korth. The third was Cody Poskins, and then the fourth, which a lot of our listeners will know, DJ Fox came in fourth at 59 hours 29 minutes. That's 3 full hours behind Rachel. This is an absolutely phenomenal time. Massive, well done, great athlete. She ran an average of 13 minutes 28 seconds for the whole race, Miles. So, Ian, what do you think about this amazing feat?
I'm trying to remember the last time I could manage 13 minutes for miles, and we're talking a 5K, let alone 250. No, incredible. We should point out, as often happens, without taking anything away, that when it comes to ultra, as the distance goes up, the gender bias really starts to shrink away. You still get a slight gender bias towards male athletes, but it just really, it does tend to converge. But ultimately, you know what? Almost the gender doesn't matter. She kicked butt out there. She did incredible. What an amazing achievement. Also, shout out to sixth place, which was a name that a lot of ultra athletes will be aware of. Courtney Dauwalter. She came sixth, which again just shows you the level of competition that was there. I will be honest, I don't know about a lot about Rachel. I don't really follow ultra running half as much as I wish I did, but she absolutely smashed it. It's not like she was racing against scrubs here. These were some top competitors. So well done to Rachel. And to win by over an hour is always impressive on this kind of run.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, she has won quite a few races in the past. She run the Whiskey Basin Trail back in April, which was 60k. She run the 100 miles Coldwater 100 back in January. Last year, she won the Pass Mountain, which was in Arizona. She won the Mammoth 200. So she has got a history of winning big races. You know, she is one of I think she's cemented herself now in history. You know, we all talk about Courtney Dauwalter being probably the greatest female ultra runner, even though Yasmin did the Spine and things like that. And then we've got what's the British girls at Perry? Oh, what's her name? All my mates are going to shout at me now. That's doing really well. The Innovate athlete. But I just think that Rachel now has just cemented herself in ultra running history. You know, not just in female ultra running, but in ultra running history.
Did she win it last year? She has got history of this race. I managed to watch the last few miles in the live feed, and she looked so fresh. I can't believe she was running so fast in those last few miles. There was a couple of things that actually also astonished me. One, she stopped to go and stroke a dog, which I absolutely loved. She was there for a few seconds just stroking the dog. I love that. And apparently she only had a total of 19 hours sleep while she was out there for the 56 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. I saw a quick snippet of an interview saying actually she did have an RV following her around, but she didn't want to get in. She was wasting time just getting in and out of an RV. So that's why she was just basically sleeping on the road or, on dirt. She was saying there were all dirt naps. That's what she was having.
You're quite right, Will. She did it last year. She did it in 2024 as well. So it's the third year in a row that she's attempted it. All 3 times she's come first female. I mean, I guess what's massively different is the times. So in 24 she did 73 hours and came 11th overall. 25 she did 63 hours, came fourth overall, and then this year 56 hours first overall. That's the level. She's got better over the last 3 years. We're not just talking, this is not a one-off race against whoever turns up. We're talking about she's knocked 10 hours off nearly from the first year she did it. What, 8 hours, sorry, since the first year she did it, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Do we know if Laz has her email address?
I think he's going to have into, you know what I mean? End of the day, he's actually going to, without a doubt, she's going to get an invite. Yasmin got one, you know what I mean? Yasmin did Big's Backyard, she did really, really well. I think she's the furthest every female's ever gone, which was absolutely fantastic. And that an athlete like this is definitely going to get an invite. Courtney gets an invite, every year. They're going to want the best at Bigs, you know what I mean? So yeah, without a doubt, she's going to be there, which is absolutely fantastic. Ian, let's talk fitness racing.
There's actually not a lot of news this week. We mentioned briefly about Decker, London West. I know we have fun with it, but we can't help it. For those of you who don't know OCR, who maybe listen to this for fitness racing, it's an old OCR joke that Spartan just don't know what a map is. Alan, is that fair to say?
Spartan definitely don't know where it is. Not a joke. This is genuine. They don't know where a map is. We have Yorkshire. It's in Skipton, which is actually, I'm not sure if it's in Cumbria or Lancashire, but it's definitely, without a doubt, not in Yorkshire. Maybe some Skipton people might say it is, but it's not. It's right up there I'm sure that the course actually goes through all three counties up there. I'm guaranteed it goes through all three counties. It starts and finishes in Yorkshire, but then 100 metres past the start line, you're in Lancashire, and then as you go a bit further around, you end up going into Cumbria at some point. So you might even go down to Devon there. I don't know. It's without, they would probably say so.
And back in the day, Tough Mudder Northwest with a stiff breeze, it would end up in Wales. Yeah, it's just the way they do it. But yeah, London West, which is in Farnborough, it is on the 28th to 29th of November 2026. So it's a way off now. They are having an ultraverse. So if you are thinking about what to do, if you're an OCR athlete and you're making your winter plans, that's something definitely to think about. So have a think about that. When it comes to High Rocks news, they confirmed prize money this week, or maybe it was just re-announced. There's a total prize fund for world champs for the elites of over $300,000.
Wow.
That will include first place getting 40 grand, second place getting 30 grand, third place getting 20 grand, and then just goes down there. We've not yet got the doubles or the relay prizes, so that's super cool. Relatively quiet in High Rocks. Well, relatively quiet as it would be with events having 30,000 people at recently across multiple venues. I will give another shout out to Deadly Dozen. Let's firstly say well done to the Deadly Milers. Alan, do you remember we ran this a couple of weeks ago?
We did, yes. I remember.
We mentioned, well, Jamie from British Obstacle Sports, also known as Dadbot V 2.0, actually took us on board and he went and did it.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. Amazing. Top man.
So he did it. We also had Carol from Just Drop In Centre. We had Martin, who's done it before. Obviously we had our good friend Matt Rigby. We had AJ Forbes, like Amy did it, and Fats as well. He did it, and yeah, I still think they're all crazy. I did get various highlights of them that at some point I'll go through footage, I'll put it up. But well done to them. If you head up on UK HXR, I did a little bit of an interview with Jamie once he was doing the lunges, which is the first. I don't think I've ever done an interview with someone doing lunges, so that was quite fun. But raising money for the Just Drop In Centre in Macclesfield. So well done to them, to all the fundamentalists. And speaking of Deadly Dozen, their British champs, as this is released, is just over a week in Birmingham. So that would be obviously a week from tomorrow, as you're listening to this. I want to say 23rd, 24th. You know, I always get confused because I can't add up.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. 23rd, 24th.
23rd, or 24th, 23rd.
Yeah, either one of them. Solos on 23rd, doubles on 24th. I think if you've ever done a Deadly Dozen in the past, it's now been opened up. They've given all the qualifiers their opportunity, and now if you've ever done a Deadly Dozen in the UK and you're from the UK, you can sign up if you want. But also, Alan, if you want to go and help them out by judging, I know they are looking for judges, namely because a lot of their usual judges qualified and are thus running. That wasn't really thought out too well. So yeah, if you're looking, if you're able to judge, I'll forget to put it in the show notes. Alan might remember, but reach out to Deadly Dozen. They've got on their website, they've got a judge sign up page. They would really appreciate any help they can get. And you get to how many times can you say you've judged in a stadium, Alan? You're at the Commonwealth Stadium judging.
That's amazing. To be like in like a massive thing. That's like, well, to me, it's like Commonwealth Stadium, which is like the Olympic Stadium. It's like a massive honor. Yeah, honor. I'm gonna call it an honor. Yeah, an honor to do it.
So if you're able to, if you're free, either one of those 2 days, which probably helps a lot of people, because I know some people, when it's not just a Saturday, they can't do Saturday or they can't do it. But now you could do Sunday if you're like racing Saturday. So that's that. And Alan, other than that, I'm out of fitness racing news. Have we got anything else as we hurtle towards a unhurried full?
I thought we'd just have a little bit of fun to finish with, Ian, and we've got Will on, so Will can join in this. Yeah, at the London Marathon, there were some world records broken, some strange world records broken, and I thought we would go through some of them and see if we can guess the times. So I'm going to share this. So I can't even see the times. Yeah, although I have seen the first one, and I thought we'd go through them together. So number one, for all our watchers on YouTube, the fastest marathon wearing foam clogs. Ian, let's go with the time. What time do you think?
Well, they're not wooden. So I'm going to say 3 hours 5 because they're just like trainers.
And I agree with you. I thought that as well. More like sandals rather than clogs. Will, what you thinking?
I would have gone quicker, so I'm going to say 2:50.
Oh, Will's very close on 2 hours 47. Oh, how close is that? Next one. The fastest marathon dressed as a book character, and Archie was Captain Underpants. So Archie Hunt dressed as Captain Underpants. This is a male who did this. What we're thinking? I haven't seen this one myself.
I'm guessing you can't scroll down to the picture so we can see a picture of what he's wearing. No,
I think we might see the time if I do, Will.
Isn't it?
Oh, we've guessed it now. We've guessed it because I've scrolled down to it.
Was that was Ian's prediction, I think, wasn't it?
It was
Ian,
actually. I was going to say 2:30. I actually was going to say 2:30. It was 2:27:41, listeners. Right, let's not spoil the next one, Alan. No. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, then. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I was terrible at this.
This is not working very well at all. This is
fastest female with multiple sclerosis. I didn't see it. I'm going to say around about the 4 hour mark, Alan.
And I think I would have as well, Ian, but I saw it like Will did. Sub 3 hours, 2 hours 59 and 32 minutes. That's a female running it. That's absolutely amazing.
That's
Chelsea
crazy.
Grover. Here's one. The longest scarf knitted while running the marathon. So we're going not distance now. How long was it? Knitting a scarf while running the marathon.
1.5 meters.
I'm going to go more. I'm going to go 3 meters.
Oh, you see, now I was going to go 3 as well. I'll go 3.1 then. I think it was long. I'm like you, Ian. I think 6 hours. I've seen some of these old people knit. They can knit pretty quick.
Depends how quick a runner they are, I guess, as well.
Simon
Wow.
Fannon, 5.59 meters. Oh wow,
Wow.
that is absolutely that's some. He'd trip over that surely.
I was gonna say,
How
do
mu-
you think Simon was walking that marathon then? To
Yeah, he
get
did.
I don't know, but I'm thinking, how much wool
Doesn't
has he
say his
used? He's got to
time.
carry all his wool and he's not tripping over it. Every time I've ever tried to knit when I was younger, I would drop the wool on the floor and it would be all over the place. I'd be tripping every marathon runner up me.
And
Number
did it
five.
have to be wearable? Because I'm thinking how small the width would be. Because if you only had to do a few stitches across, and it was quite a thin scarf, that makes it easier, and you could start to wrap it round your arm, can't you, as you're doing it, or your head. So I'm not as impressed with that one. Not just because Alan gazumped me by putting 3.1 to win. So. Fastest marathon dressed as a knight. I'm gonna say because I've seen a picture of this at the top. It wasn't
Yeah,
a real knight. It wasn't a full shining armor. Well, it was kind of, but that looks like you can run him that. I'm gonna go 3 hours 30 for him.
I'm actually going
I
to go
think
much less. I'm going to knock an hour off that in. And the reason why I'm going to knock an hour off that is I can see in this picture he's got running shoes on. And they, to me, look like Adidas Zeros on. So if he's got Adidas Zeros, one run shoes, I'm going to go he ran a 2:30.
I think a little bit faster, just to gazump you. I'm going to go for 2:25.
2:25. Let's go and have a look now. Drum roll. Drum roll. Oh no,
Oh,
Ian, 4 hours 21.
What can I say? It was a lucky guess, and just happened to be. We think we all lost that one, didn't I? Say 3 hours. So
wow.
yeah. Anyway.
You were the closest. You were the closest. Fastest marathon with a double mastectomy. So this is a female athlete we're looking at. I'm going to go 3 hours.
I'm going to go 3:15, but fair play to this athlete because, yeah, I'm sure once you have that life-changing surgery, training for a marathon must be the furthest thing from your mind. So well done to her. I'm sure she's brought a lot of awareness to the cause as well.
3:30.
3:30.
3:30. Let's have a quick look then. 3:24. So, fastest marathon in a suit and dress and shoes. This is a male. So a male wearing a suit and dress shoes. Yeah. This has got to be tough, this. Running in shoes in a marathon, in dress shoes, no matter how good they are. This has got to be tough.
I'm going to say 2:40 because I can run in dress shoes. So it really depends on the athlete here as opposed to anything else, I reckon. Plus, it wasn't a super hot day. So 2:40 for me.
Will,
250. 250.
250. See, if we were recording this before the wedding, I could come back on later and tell you how long it would actually take me to run a marathon chasing Paula if she was the runaway bride, wouldn't I? But we're not recording it before I get married. So the time here is, drum roll, 3:21. That's pretty quick, that, I think. 18
It
degrees
is
heat.
slower than what I thought, though.
Yeah. Fastest marathon dressed as a cheerleader, a male. A male. I think this is fast. I'm going to go 2:38.
Will?
I probably think a little bit quicker. 2:25 I'm going to go for again. Because I would have thought a cheerleader outfit is quite sporty, isn't it? So it's not as if
Yeah.
it's unless you're probably having to carry pom-poms and stuff. I'm still going to go 2:25.
I'm going to go 2:50.
And we have got 2:46. I think that's Ian's.
Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. George Carley.
A lot of these, it depends on the athlete, doesn't it? Because, like Will said, if you put, I reckon if you put the winner as a male cheerleader, he'd absolutely smash it. Yeah, he wouldn't go under 2 hours, but he's probably still running 2:02.
How good would it be though if he did dress as a cheerleader and won it? That would be so good.
It'd be like in High Rocks where some of the Elite 15 just go and run open to get the record so no one can beat it.
And then number 9, the fastest marathon while blindfolded. So this was it was a male and he was tethered to another male. What's our thoughts here? I'll go first. I don't mind going first. I'm going to say 4 hours 10 minutes.
I'm going to go 4:30.
I was going to go 4 hours. So, yeah, I'll kind of stick 4 hours.
4:10, 4:30, 4 hours. Oh, 3 hours 16.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Imagine that blindfolded guy. Gosh. That's absolutely crazy. Mark Golder, 3 hours 16. So there we go, guys. I just thought a little bit of fun to finish off with there. Listeners, I hope you joined in and enjoyed that with us. But that's it from me, Ian.
Yeah, it's absolutely it from me as well. So with all that being said, it's a goodbye from me.
Me too.
And listeners, thank you for listening. You take care, you stay safe, and you keep on running. And we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.